Why do you feel stuck after 50, even when nothing has completely fallen apart? You're not in crisis, yet everything feels paused, flat, and harder to start. You may still be doing what needs to be done. You may still be showing up for other people, handling the house, the errands, the bills, the appointments. But inside, something feels still. You look at your life and think, is this it now? Or, why can't I seem to move forward? Or maybe the hardest thought of all, have I missed my chance? It's easy to mistake this for being finished, but often it means something quieter is changing. Your old way of moving through life may no longer fit who you are becoming. If that feeling has been sitting quietly in the background, you're not on your own. A lot of people feel this after 50, even if they rarely say it out loud. Because from the outside, life may look reasonably fine. Nothing dramatic may be wrong. There may be no obvious crisis to explain it, and that can make the stuck feeling even more confusing. You might wonder why you're not more grateful, why you can't just get on with things, why you feel flat when in many ways you have already made it through so much. But feeling stuck after 50 does not mean your best days are behind you, and it does not mean there is something wrong with you. Very often it means you are standing between who you've been and who you are becoming next. For many years, life may have given you a clear direction. You had responsibilities, work, bills, family needs, people depending on you, problems to solve, things to build, things to survive. Even when it was stressful, it gave your days a certain shape. You knew what needed doing. You knew who needed you. You knew where your energy had to go. But after 50, some of those old roles can begin to change. Children grow up, work changes, friendships shift. Your body may ask for more attention. Your energy may not return as quickly as it used to, and sometimes, without realizing it, you find yourself living from old instructions that no longer quite fit. You may still be trying to push yourself the way you did at 35 or 40. You might still be measuring your worth by how productive you are. You may still be waiting for the old motivation to come back. But the old fuel may not work in the same way anymore. That does not mean you have lost yourself. It might just mean you are being asked to listen to yourself in a different way. Feeling stuck often happens when your outside life and your inside life are no longer moving at the same pace. On the outside, you may be keeping things going, but on the inside, something may be asking for more peace, more meaning, more honesty, or more time that actually feels like yours. And that can bring up a question you may not have asked for a long time. What matters to me now? For years, the question may have been, what needs to be done? Or, who needs me? Or, how do I keep everything together? But now, another question begins to rise. What do I want the next part of my life to feel like? And if you have not asked that for many years, you may not know the answer straight away. That can feel like being stuck, but it might actually be the beginning of becoming clearer. One reason this feeling becomes stronger after 50 is that you have lived long enough to know what drains you. You may have less patience now for pressure, pretending, rushing, or living up to expectations that never really suited you. Things you once tolerated may now feel heavier. Old commitments may feel more tiring. Old goals may no longer excite you in the same way. And because these changes happen so quietly, you could mistake them for failure. You might think, I've become lazy, or I've lost my spark, or I don't know what's wrong with me. But sometimes the old spark has not disappeared. It is simply refusing to burn for things that no longer matter to you. That is an important difference. You may not be unmotivated. You might just be a bit disconnected from what feels meaningful now. Disconnected from your own needs, disconnected from small pleasures, disconnected from a sense of progress that feels personal, not just practical. And when life becomes mostly maintenance, the spirit can start to feel dull. You wake up, you handle things, you repeat the same routines, you get through the day. Then hey, before you know it, another day comes. Nothing terrible has to happen for that to become heavy. A life can be full of tasks and still feel empty of direction. And this is where many people make that stuck feeling worse. They blame themselves. They tell themselves they should be stronger, more positive, more disciplined, more grateful. They compare themselves to people who seem busier, happier, fitter, more social, or more certain. Or they wait for a big burst of motivation before they take even one small step. But after 50, Waiting to feel completely ready can keep you in the same place for a long time, because clarity often does not arrive before movement. Sometimes clarity comes after one small, honest action. Just one small action that tells your mind, I am still allowed to move. What helps is not forcing yourself into a whole new life overnight. What helps is creating a little movement where life has become too still. The first step is to stop calling yourself finished. That word is way too heavy. It closes doors before you have even checked whether they are locked. Try using a different sentence. Instead of, I'm stuck because it's too late, try, I'm stuck because something needs to change, and I am still learning what that is. That sentence gives you a bit of wiggle room. It reminds you that stuck is a state, not an identity. You are not a stuck person. You are a person in a stuck season, and seasons can change. The second step is to choose one area of your life that feels too still. Not your whole life, just one area. It might be your mornings, your social life, your home, your health routine, your creativity, your confidence. Just pick one, then ask, what is one small sign of movement here? If your mornings feel flat, it might be getting dressed earlier and stepping outside for 10 minutes. If your home feels stale, it might be clearing one small surface or changing one corner of a room. If your social life feels quiet, it could be sending one message to someone you trust. Small movement matters because it breaks the spell of helplessness. It reminds your mind that life is not completely closed. There is still a next step. The third step is to choose one action that fits who you are now, not who you used to be. This matters because a lot of people after 50 keep waiting for the old version of themselves to come back, the one with more energy, more certainty, more drive, and more tolerance for pressure. But maybe the goal is not to become who you were. Maybe the goal is to become more honest about who you are now. So instead of asking, what would the old me have done? Ask, what's going to help the current me move gently forward? That might mean a shorter walk instead of a hard workout. One useful phone call instead of a packed social week, or 15 minutes on a project instead of waiting for a full free afternoon. This is not lowering your standards. It is working with your real life, not against it. The fourth step is to give yourself something small to look towards, not a massive plan, just something believable. A visit, a project, a weekly routine, a skill you want to learn, a place you want to go. A habit that would make your days feel lighter. When there is nothing ahead of you that feels personally meaningful, life can start to feel like repetition. But even a small thing on the horizon can change the emotional shape of a week. It gives your mind a gentle signal. There is still life ahead. There are still moments to meet. There are still parts of you that have not been expressed yet. So if you feel stuck right now, try not to turn it into a sentence against yourself. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too old to change. You may simply be at a point where the old way of living no longer gives you the same sense of meaning. And that can be unsettling, but it can also be an opening. You do not have to rebuild your whole life to begin again. You only have to create one small sign of movement, one choice that respects who you are now, one step that makes tomorrow feel a little less like yesterday. Feeling stuck after 50 does not mean you are finished. It may mean you are ready for a different kind of life. Not a perfect life, a life that fits you more honestly, and that is still worth moving toward. If this helped you feel a little more understood, you may want to subscribe to Well After 50 for more calm, practical guidance for this stage of life. Because the next part of your life does not have to be rushed, but it still belongs to you.